Hello, hi my good people. I hope you're good. I'm also fine. So welcome back to my YouTube channel. And you're going to have a conversation about compounding effects. So I know most of us have heard about compounding about when it comes to finances, and we are being told by the finances gurus about how to compound your finances, how to join this maybe a money market fund or anything that will make your money to make more babies. So I know we are familiar with the term compounding, but apparently today we are going to learn compounding effect in a different angle. So sometimes we hear, or even me as a psychologist, sometimes you find cases where someone will come and tell you, I've referred this couple to you because they're in the age of breaking and we feel like there's something that can be done, or we feel like the kids will suffer. So from the children's department, we feel like maybe you can talk to them and see if these guys can have something that they can now agree on and continue the marriage, bearing in mind that maybe the kids are so young and all that. But you find that these people, they've already made up their minds and no one wants to make things work and no one is willing to compromise, and compromise in a good way, because most of the time in life there are times that you just have to compromise. You just have to compromise for the sake of people who cannot defend themselves. This is the kids. And I'm not saying you compromise where you are being beaten, but most of the time there are issues that you can even solve them, but people have a lot of ego and pride that they don't want to be like, people see them as you are a loser, you are a weak vessel, like mbona umekubali mbona umekubali kumsamea, we know you are a man, why do you lower your standards, you are a woman and amekufanyia hii na hii. And we have even friends out here who are really inciting us. And most of the time I always say that if someone is telling you to leave your marriage, maybe you should dig deeper and audit what interest do they have. I've seen people who, the people who are telling them to leave their marriages end up marrying their husbands after they have left, and even telling them how you do not know how to take care of your husband, you do not know how to take care of your wife. These are the people who are telling you achana na huyu mtu. So again, we need to audit when someone is giving us advice. We need to know, where are they coming from? Are they coming from a point of love, or are they coming from a point of envy and jealousy? I did a video about people who love us can be an obstacle to our growth and development. If you have not watched the video, you can watch the video. And I've talked about so many things that people tend to feel like it is love, but most of the time it is not love, it is something else. So when these couples come to me, you find that there's a lot of issues. Na hii ni kitu ilianza kitambo, like they have been piling issues. He did this to me in 2024, I forgave him. She did this to me in 2023, I was not happy, but we did not discuss about it, I kept quiet. She did this to me in I don't know which year, I kept quiet. So there's a lot of bottling up, and this are now the compounding effect. These are the things that will make this marriage to end. And you are like, I wish you could have sorted these things as you go, because problems are everywhere. You cannot say that kuna mahali hakuna shida. Even your own siblings, your own children, colleagues at work, like as long as you are more than one person, you'll always have problems. And even sometimes we have problems with our own selves. So compounding effect is this habit that we compound, we repeat them every day. Even people who, you see people, sometimes people are being changad for because they have gone broke. But people are asking, you used to work in this organization, maybe you used to be an actor, you have seen many people are supporting them maybe to build a house because they don't have even food to eat. They don't have the basics. But we cannot say that this person did this and he lost the money. We can just see the compounding effect of their financial choices every day. So there's positive side of compounding and there is negative side of compounding. And it's all about us, what you choose, which side do you want to be. So most marriages, you find that there's a lot of bottling up emotions, unresolved issues, unfinished businesses that have been there for years. And this person is sharing this as they cry. It's like it happened yesterday. And you can see the pain, you can see the bitterness, you can see the anger. So you find that even if this marriage was to work, but because they have bottled a lot of emotion, it has been compounded and compounded and compounded until now it's like there is no way out. Nobody wants to forgive because everybody has a heel and a lot of accusations toward the other person. So make sure that whatever you are doing today, is it compounding for your own good or is it compounding against you? That is also in relationships. With our kids, what are we doing today? Is it compounding in a positive side or a negative side? Someone cannot wake up and say, I don't want to see my mother, I don't want to see my father, just from the blues. If you sit down with this person, they will give you a lot of stories, a lot of things that this parent did. And that is why they have chosen to act the way they are acting. Most of the time, I tell parents that 80% of issues that adolescents have and our teenagers, these issues are being born from the family. You find that somebody brings a child for counseling, and after talking to this child, realize this problem started when this child was 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, and they have a lot. And now they're trying to find an escape route on how to just pour out these issues that they are carrying, the compounding effect of the issues. Someone will tell you, you know, my mom has been married 10 times. I always have a different father. So I'm just tired. I just want to take alcohol so that I can just feel good for some times. I'm in this addiction because I didn't like the environment. I'm in this early marriage because it was so hard for me even to stay in that toxic house. So even as parents, what are you compounding? What are you doing that your kids are compounding in their minds? So compounding effects works in everything, leave alone finances. So if you want a happy marriage, compound good things. If you have issues with your spouse, sit down, discuss, forgive each other, continue. If there's something that is very, very alarming or burning, and also if somebody tells you like, can we sit and have a conversation? Don't allow your ego and your pride to tell you, you know, I'm a man, a woman cannot sit me down. And then one day, this woman who cannot sit you down decides, I'm going to leave and stay or do my own things. And then you are like, why are you doing this to me? But remember, you said you're a man, a woman cannot sit you down. So how did you want this woman to solve their problems? Or me as a woman, hakuna mtu anaweza niambia kitu. And then after some years, this guy tells you, by the day it's over. And then you start crying and everything. But remember those days that they were telling you to sit down and have a conversation, but you are like, nobody can sit me down, or I don't have time for nonsense, or I cannot discuss anything with you, or I don't need your support, or I'm busy. So right now you are not busy, but they have moved on because they've realized there's nothing that can be sorted out. And I always tell men, if you see your wife keeping quiet, the things that used to annoy her no longer annoys her. Whatever you do with your life, they don't care. They don't cry. They don't throw tantrums. You should be worried, guys. You should be worried. So spending time with your family, doing things, building memories. I've done a video about memories. Building memories with your family, something that will compound to good family relationship and also having that bonding together. Spiritual growth. Spiritual growth also, it's a matter of compounding. Are you reading the Bible? Are you listening to someone's? Are you praying? Are you waiting upon God? Are you fasting? Are you worshiping God? Are you reading the, so it's all about compounding. If uliacha kusoma Bible 10 years back, now spiritually, where are you? If you stopped maybe going to church, 10 years ago, if you stopped listening to someone, if you stopped doing Bible study in your house with your family or with yourself, it means you are not growing spiritually. So it's all about small habits every day. You can decide to read one verse every day. You can decide to listen to one sermon once a week, going to church and all that. And then financial freedom. People say I'm not going to save today because I'm earning pesa kidogo sana. Siwezi manage to save. But do you know, even saving 200 shillings or 500 shillings or whatever the amount, after some times it will surprise you. But if you wait for that time that will have a windfall or will inherit, if you're lucky, we are going to wait forever. But if you start now, pole 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 pole, it's going to compound. That is the journey towards financial freedom. It is the small steps taken daily. So if you are planning to be financially free, or if you're planning even to buy something, you just have to start pole pole. And the person who said Abba na Abba hujaza kibaba was in the right spirit. Hakuwa na jaba. So make sure that haba na haba hujaza kibaba, compounding. So if you want to be financially free, start now, kidogo kidogo tu, as you trust God. I was talking to someone who really challenged me. This lady, bearing in mind what she does, I was so amazed. I was so challenged. And she was telling me, this is what I do. And I sell this kando ya barabara. Let me not mention what she's selling so that you don't go look for those people who are selling and telling them, kumbe you can save. I've heard that this business has money. So it is one of the business that people look down on. And she was telling me, I've gone through this. Of course, we're having sessions, but one thing is I've saved this amount of money. I was like, what did you say? And she was like, yeah, through selling that small business, I'm able to save. It's quite a good money. And my target is this amount so that I can buy a piece of land and then save again and then build our home. That is her plan. I'm not a financial advisor, so don't come for me. Why did you allow her to buy land? I don't advise about finances, and people have different goals. That is why I don't say somebody saying, land is a dead asset or going to buy what or crypto or whatever or shares or blah blah. It all depends on the priority. For her, the priority is to have a place where she can call home, bearing in mind of other things that has happened. So this is something that these are businesses that when you look up, you're like, yeah. So the compounding effect has helped this lady for the last 3 years. She's almost buying the land and also doing 1, 2, 3. So again, let's talk about fitness. Fitness is all about the daily habits that we do, doing that exercise every day or maybe twice a week or once a week. I know people who have subscribed for the gym membership, but hata hawajaikanyanga hiyo gym. So make sure that you do something that will pain you when you don't do it. You can even bet with a friend that if I'll send you a recording when I'm working out on this day. If I don't do that, this is what I'm supposed to pay you. So just have accountability partner who you can agree on what you're going to do so that they keep you in check. And one thing about these things I'm talking about, happy marriage, financial freedom, spiritual growth, fitness, it's all about ukianza ndio ngumu. When you start, it's hard, but as you continue, it becomes part of your routine. And even when you don't work out, you'll feel like something is missing. When you don't save that 500 shillings, you'll feel like something is missing. When you don't read that verse, you'll feel like something is missing. So they become part of you. And now they're so easy that you don't need someone even to force you or to check on if you have done it or not. So make sure that you do daily exercise. You want to be fit. If you want to, one of the things, I watched this channel of people who are in their 80s, 90s, and 100 years. And one of the advice that they give to a younger generation is make sure that you take care of your body through exercise and eating healthy. So even people who are having some issues because of bad food, it's the compounding effect of eating a lot of junk. That is why you end up adding a lot of weight, you end up having some diseases, but it's not something that you wake up and decide, I'm going to eat junk today. So make sure that whatever you eat, it's also compounding, and it is what is giving us the energy even to wake up in the morning and to be strong. And then the last one is about effective communication. I know communication is something that is easy and it is hard at the same time. So make sure that if you want to be a good communicator, make sure that you do that small talks with people, you talk to people, you have that group conversation, you talk to your friends, and also you practice even doing communication. One thing I love about even this YouTube channel is when you start, things are so hard. Things are hard. But as you continue, as you press on, you find that things are becoming more lighter, and even your communication skills do improve, because now you are able to talk, you are able to share, you are able to have a conversation. And not everyone will do the YouTube channel, but even in your workplace, in your family, start a conversation and just improve on your communication skills, because you can have good ideas, but if you cannot communicate the ideas effectively, nobody will believe in you. You can have good plans, but if you cannot communicate these plans to someone who maybe is supposed to help you, they're not going to buy the idea. So that's why salespeople, they master communication, because it doesn't matter what you know, it doesn't matter what you think. All matters is, are you able to explain it to someone in a way that they are able to understand and to buy the idea. And that is why if you need support, the people who you have to tell them details on why and how and when and what and where and all that. So if you are not someone who can communicate effectively, people tend to feel like they will not buy the idea, or they will just feel like this thing is not genuine. That's why even con women and con men, they are conning us because they've mastered communication, and you see everything as real. So make sure that you master effective communication by your daily habits, not for bad things like conning people, but for good things that will help you even in your business. Everywhere we go is about communication. Your business, your career, the clients that you meet. If you're a teacher, communicating with the pupils, if you're a lawyer, communicating with clients. So communication cuts across, and I guess that's why every course must find communication being added, so that you can be able to communicate effectively. So my prayer is that we'll not compound negative effects, but will compound positive effects, things that will help us to live a very healthy life, a very successful life, and a very, very fulfilling life. So ask yourself, as I also ask myself, whatever I'm doing every day, what are they compounding to? Are they compounding to good things, or are they compounding to things that will work against me? Are they compounding to things that when I look back, I'll be proud of myself and my choices? Or are they compounding to things that when I look back, I'll be so ashamed and I will disappoint myself, my younger self, that you did not learn this and you had the opportunity? So for now, may God bless you, and bye bye.